Hey guys, hopefully everything is going well with you. I shared a reading from this is my second post based on my journey with what's going on in my life with embarking on my yoga certification in the studies of Ayurveda. Um, and so just kind of following up with that, one of my positive readings from yesterday, and then of course I have the cards mixed up and they are in a particular order, but I don't think it's like an order for any sense of the word that it needs to be in order, but just so that you know which ones you've read. So that's what I'm thinking. But ironically, as mixed up as they were, card number 2 and card number 3 were back to back. And card number 2 yesterday resonated with me so much so that I don't usually read these things out loud to my clients. But yesterday I did that. And so I wanted to share that with you. And then my thoughts on what today's reading was, I was like, what? Hold on a second. And I'll tell you what that means in a second. So the card from yesterday read, regard all dhammas as dreams. And I was like, that's interesting. And I said, and it says on the backside of it, whatever you experience in your life, pain, pleasure, heat, cold, or anything else, is like something happening in a dream. Although you might think things are very solid, they're like passing memory. You can experience this open, unfixated quality in sitting meditation. All that arises in your mind, hate, love, and all the rest, is not solid. Although the experience can be extremely vivid, it's just a product of your mind. Nothing solid is really happening. When I read that, I thought to myself, couple of things, but mostly hope. You know, I was just like, hope was the main thing that came to my mind. And the second thing that came to my mind was not just, well, first hope for like the human race, and then hope for myself, and a new perspective on stop fixating on things that if I don't change it in my mind, and if I don't change it in how I show up, then it can't possibly resonate with the world, right? And so how poetic, given these times that we're in right now with the state of our nation and politics and race and pandemics and all the craziness that's happened in all the near 50 years of my life. I don't recall in my lifetime, and I know there's been crazier seasons in the history of America and of the world for that matter, but just in my lifetime, I just don't recall things being this messy. And it brought up a conversation I had with a good friend of mine, based along the topic of race and racism. He and I have been friends. It's crazy because he has a son in college, and we met my freshman year in college, and we reminded ourselves of how we thought and how we were as kids. And you know, he had a different upbringing than I did, and I had a different perspective on people and life and things than he did. But the product of where we were when we met and where we were when we graduated, because we went through undergrad and graduate school together. And it was beautiful to see an inner city shelled on the outside as this tough ass guy from Oakland, California, to a man, and the man that he is today, a man of deep thought, a man that encompasses all races, a man that thinks deeply and passionately for people and for the human race, despite the environment he grew up in. Me on the other side, you know, I don't think my family has ever met a stranger. So very different. Not very guarded, very open, very loving. And not that he wasn't loving, because he is. But just very open to any race, not particularly taken back by any religions, just as long as, you know, and this is the way I've raised my son, if you're good people, you got a place at my table. So that resonated with me yesterday, and it just gave me hope. And a couple of times that I started to read that, because I have a couple classes that I teach to my folks, I got choked up. It was a very emotional thing for me. And then I read today's, which states, examine the nature of unborn awareness. Man, our subconscious people. So trying to live more consciously and more aware, and not in a sense of, I got a friend of mine that is very, very analytical. Like, you should ask why about things, and that's great. But it's like, sometimes you just got to, you go into things with eyes wide open, but not so analytical that you don't just allow things to just be. You know, there's a harmony between both. So neither one is wrong. It's just sometimes you just kind of let things unravel and just let things organically be. And so when I read that, examine the nature of unborn awareness, the backside of the card reads, look at your mind at just simple awareness itself. Examine, it puts in quotes. Doesn't mean analyze. It just means looking and seeing if there's anything solid to hold on to. Our mind is constantly shifting and changing. Just look at that. And then I'm like, okay, my first card yesterday said nothing solid. But then to look at things, look for something solid to hold on to. To me, I think that can mean various different things. But for me, when I read that, the solid in that, quote unquote, was, how is my mind shifting around? What does it keep dabbling back to? Is that limiting hope and possibility for me? Is that limiting how I show up in the world? Is that limiting who I was intended to show up as? Is that limiting my goals? Maybe I'm living, consciously and subconsciously fearful. And so I'm not allowing my light to shine, or taking the risk or the chances to be that person that I choose to, I long to, or I dream of being before I move on to the next world, right? And so that solid is what I was looking at. And then, being consciously aware of that, and then make a conscious choice to be okay with those thoughts, but to make choices that break down those barriers that are going to allow me to grow and to show up in this world the way people deserve me to, and the way I need to be able to fulfill my own legacy, my own prophecy in life. So hopefully that resonates with you guys. I will take copies of these cards and I'll post them in this post today. But that is my post for you guys. And if I don't have a chance to reach out to you guys sooner, make it a good one. I know for a lot of us, Thanksgiving does not look the same this year. We're still trying to be really careful. Some of us are, respectfully to all the takes and all the opinions and everything on COVID, just to be safe and to still be grateful, feel grateful for the things that are good in our lives. And there's a lot more good than I think sometimes we can really focus on when we're in the middle of an uneasy and unpredictable, unprecedented life in this season that we're in. So thankful for you guys. Be blessed. If you don't get to be with your family, friends, people you adore, at least reach out to them. And if you can, you have the space, call. We can all text, and I'm guilty of it as well. But I think that unexpected phone call to maybe someone you haven't spoken to in a minute, be it a relative or a friend, or maybe mend a relationship. If you can't remember why you guys were fighting in the first place, it's probably time to mend the relationship or make an effort to. Life's too short to not live respectfully, freely, and just embrace the goodness in life and try to find solitude in that. All right, guys. Love, peace. Make it a good one.